Matt Reeves' Batman and the DCU Batman. Let's talk about them. So I've said this many times before, originally when David Zaslav made that statement months ago, how there will not be 4 Batmans. I did not take that statement thinking there would be 2. I took that statement thinking there would only be 1, as any connected universe would have, but I also did not realize that moving forward into this DCU, they were going to keep Elseworlds universes. So because of that, we in fact do have 2 Batmans, Robert Pattinson's Batman and whoever this new DCU Batman will be. In ways, I'm looking forward to this. Having 2 different iterations of Batman on the big screen is awesome, really interesting. But in other ways, I'm a little cautious because I wonder how this is going to work. We don't really have many details on the Batman 2 with Robert Pattinson. We don't have too many details on the DCU Batman, but the one thing that is clear, if you want a Batman who is more centered in reality, who's going to be dealing with crime, drama, thrillers, then Matt Reeves' Batman universe is for you. If you want a Batman who is going to be dealing with the Bat family, who is going to be involved in a connected universe of DC characters, then the DC Batman is for you. And if you want both, well, then both are for you. This is obviously where things get interesting, though, because yes, whereas we are used to a DC over the past 10 or so years, where we've had the same character being developed in other projects all across DC that are not connected, is something very familiar to us. We've had so many different versions of Batman, Joker, Superman, The Flash that have been shown on screen that don't take place in the same universe, that are all disconnected. But what's really interesting about this, we're about to get 2 different versions of Batman who are both going to share the silver screen and are both going to be shown to the masses. And there's no real way of knowing as of now, but one has to wonder if this is a genius idea and no one can get enough Batman, so keep giving us Batman movies, or if this is going to blow up in their face and it's going to be a matter of you gotta choose one or the other. Do you want to see DCU Batman? Do you want to see Matt Reeves' Batman? You got to imagine there is going to be some sort of competition between whatever Matt Reeves is doing with his Batman and whoever is controlling Batman for the DCU. And yeah, sure, maybe it's friendly competition because they're all fighting for the same goal. The dominance of DC and the beautiful portrayals of the Batman character that we might get from 2 different sides. Although, competition is competition. And I'll tell you this right now. If I was Matt Reeves, I've already had 1 Batman movie. I'm now heading into my 2nd Batman film. I'm going to be releasing my 2nd Batman film in 2025, knowing that the DCU Batman will probably be released in 2026. As somebody who loves Batman, as somebody who loves DC, I'll tell you right now, no way in the world would I want other people talking about the DCU Batman. I only want people talking about my Batman. I want to be known as the Batman guy. Batman is very similar to James Bond. They get cast all the time. There's always different stories about Batman, but you should be allowed to have your time in the sun. And that's what's very interesting about having 2 different Batmans both coming out on the big screen, is that who is going to have their time in the sun? Are we, as a fast-paced entertainment society, going to be able to let both of these Batmans, both of these creators have their time in the sun? Or are we going to pick and choose? Are we going to say, kick it, Matt Reeves, no one cares, we want DCU? Or are we going to say, yo, Matt Reeves is the man, DCU Batman who? That's what has me very interested about this Batman process. I don't know if this is going to work the way they think it will. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. This isn't me giving you an answer. This is me just cautiously looking at what could be a problem, or maybe it's not a problem at all. But overall, having two separate Batmans who are both going to be allowed to have their own films, this has never happened before. Because at the end of the day, I wouldn't want other people talking about another Batman. I want people talking about my Batman. I want all eyes on me. That's how I would want things. So we'll have to see what happens. Now, moving on from that and talking about what's going to make these two Batman films different and how the DCU Batman will fit into the DCU. Starting with the Batman from Matt Reeves, like I said earlier, if you want a crime saga, a thriller, you're gonna want to look in Matt Reeves' direction for Batman. I don't think there's much that needs to be said on how this Batman is going to be modeled, considering we already saw how it was modeled in the first one. In the most simplest terms possible, this is going to be the story of a man who finds himself in such a desperate situation that he literally convinces himself that dressing up as a bat at night is the best possible way to not just solve the crime issue in Gotham, but to solve his own personal demons. Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman is this generation's Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale's Batman. That's definitely the situation we're in, and I am here for it. For me, I can never have enough Batman, and I will be able to differentiate the Batman of Matt Reeves and the Batman of the DCU. I can do this. I'm sure any other person here watching this video can do it as well. Just give it to me. Now, when I've had my fill, when I've had my taste of a Batman who is secluded to his own universe, and I want a palette change to a Batman who is involved in all things DC, well, let's look at the DCU Batman and let's see what we got in store for this. So what we know right now is that it is a Batman team-up movie, finally, with a Robin. Unfortunately, it's with Damian Wayne Robin. I'm still not a fan of this. I don't like Damian Wayne. I think he's the worst Robin of them all. I am very cautious about this movie and where they're going with the story. And I'm also very interested, though, because this, done well, could be really good. Now, first of all, it is very clear that this is going to be an older Batman. I have a feeling that the Batman of the DCU is going to know that there are other superheroed beings all across the world, but he does not care. He does not care to get involved with all of those other people and beings because Gotham City is the only thing that matters to him. It's clear that if he is already on Damian Wayne, the Bat family has already been established, and I would assume that Nightwing is Robin, Jason Todd has already come back from the dead and is Red Hood. I'm also assuming Barbara Gordon may have already gone through her paralyzation from the Joker. All of the Bat family events have happened, give or take some. Now, in all honesty, from a couple months ago when they were talking about going young and starting fresh, starting from a clear beginning, I thought we were going to get a DCU Batman who, of course, starts on his own, but eventually finds a Robin, a Dick Grayson Robin, and we were gonna watch the next 10 years Batman create his Bat family, but instead, it's already created. That's personally something I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see Batman create the Bat family from the beginning and get to where he could be 10 years later with all of these different members and vigilantes. But it is what it is. Hey, if this DCU doesn't work out, maybe we can try again in the next 2 to 3 years with a different story. Now, who's the villain of this Batman film? Well, as of right now, nothing's guaranteed, nothing's confirmed, but there have been some murmurs that it is Talia al Ghul, and the League of Shadows. Yes, I know it's the League of Assassins, but I love the sound of the League of Shadows so much more. Although I do believe this movie will also have another villain, and I think they're going to go more comic booky. And this is the thing that the DCU Batman can really capitalize on. We're already going down a huge comic book route by bringing the Bat family into the overall picture. Now we get the opportunity to see a very comic booky Batman, potentially a Batman who is of course human, but who does very inhumane things. Maybe the Batman we see in comic books, the Batman who is unstoppable, always has prep time, and who can survive falls from space. Maybe we'll finally see that Batman on screen. That is a Batman I would love, absolutely love to see. A man who is literally unstoppable no matter who you choose from the DC catalog to fight him, he'll still win. Whereas I can only assume this movie is going to be about the relationship that Batman has with Damian Wayne Robin and the relationship he has with the Bat family. I think they are also going to heavily showcase what this Batman can do in an overall DC universe. Why does Batman have the right to belong in a Justice League, a team filled with gods? And it's because Batman himself, in his own right, is a god. Because even though, as I said, he's human, he's really doing things that no ordinary human can do. Because this Batman is clearly going to be older. If Superman, as they say, is going to be 25 years old, well then I would assume that Batman is potentially mid-30s, maybe 35 years old, give or take though. He could be 32, he could be 42, he could be 38. I'm not exactly sure. I've already heard the argument of, if that's the case, why couldn't you just get Ben Affleck to continue playing Batman? And yes, whereas I see your point, I see what you're saying, the issue simply is just that I think Ben Affleck is done with the Batman character. He does not want to play that character. The physical attributes that your body need to obtain when you're playing the Batman character is, I think, something he just does not want to do. He's too tired. Although, does that mean Ben Affleck is completely done with the Batman character even in storytelling? No, because I do think that Ben Affleck is going to be the director for the Batman film for the DCU. You will get an ex-Batman directing a Batman movie. And I truly think that is the next best thing. A Batman who everybody loves and may even think was kind of done dirty with certain decisions Warner Brothers was making. You're getting an ex-Batman who understands the character of Batman to make a Batman for the DCU. I absolutely love this. And once again, that's not confirmed. That's maybe a theory of mine, but a theory that a lot of people are having on the internet now. And James Gunn has even admitted that Ben Affleck will be directing a DCU project. Guys, what other project is better than this? And look, even if Batman does need to be a little bit older, let's say he is 35, 36, whatever, you can get an actor, a well-known actor too, who may even be in his 40s, but looks like he could pass for his 30s. You could do something like that. We will end up seeing what they end up choosing with the casting of Batman, although I do think that usually Batman does need to be someone a little more well-known than the rest of the DC cast, because Batman is your selling point, right? Like, for example, with Superman, you can cast a Superman, you can cast an actor that not everybody knows. You could do the same thing with Wonder Woman and Flash and whoever else. But with Batman, I think it's a good idea to cast somebody that we all know, or 80% of us may know, because it draws in everybody else to the rest of the league. And I think that is something they will do. Now, last thing I want to talk about here, and a couple of thoughts I've had about the Batman character for the DCU and the Bat family in general as well. What are some things I personally would like to see from the DCU Batman? Well, I already went through this and I made it clear that I do want to see a Batman who is literally unstoppable. I want to see the prep time Batman that everyone hates and complains about because he can beat your favorite character. I want to see that on screen. But, you know, we're finally in a situation where we are getting the Bat family on screen, and I do think they're going to heavily focus on that, not just for this movie, but for the future of the DCU. Why wouldn't you? I am dying to see Dick Grayson as Nightwing on screen, and I have reason to believe that even though the movie is Batman and Robin, you are of course going to see members of the Bat family in this film, and I think the one they are going to heavily show is Dick Grayson's Nightwing. I think he will actually even be a decent sized role in that movie too. Who doesn't want to see everyone? I want to see Nightwing, Jason Todd, Batgirl, spoiler, Cassandra Cain's Batgirl. I even want to see Batwing. I want to see them all. Although I think what could be really interesting, of course, granted the DCU succeeds, why not give us a live-action Bat family show where it's maybe led by Dick Grayson's Nightwing, and we get to see different adventures with all different variations of the Bat family trying to, of course, fight one big threat. Almost like a Titans model, but instead with the Bat family. Regardless, it doesn't need to be that. But in general, spin-offs for the Bat family, movies or TV shows, it's going to happen if the DCU does end up being successful. And I think it is a great way to not just expand on what Batman has been able to do with a class of superheroes, but what DC has to offer. The same way today that Marvel has people excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, DC can do the same thing with the Bat family, and who knows, moving forward into the Superman family, and the Wonder Woman family, and the Flash family, and so on. If the DCU works, as a Batman fan, you'll have a lot to look forward to. As a DC fan, you'll have a lot to look forward to. But there you have it, everyone. Those are my thoughts for the Batman film, DCU, and the Reevesverse. Now I want you to let me know in the comments below what you think of these two movies going forward. Let me know what you want to see from Reevesverse Batman, and let me know what you want to see from DCU Batman and the Bat family. But that's all I got for you on this one, guys. And just like usual, I'll talk to you all very soon.